It's not like I was against a 49ers victory. I was a fan when I was a kid. I just knew they weren't going to win. Weren't they playing the Saints?
The Ravens? They got beat by the Ravens.
It's a more embarrassing defeat. Let's be honest.
Is that device recording? Turn off that camera now. Turn it off. Turn it off. Got some questions that Bonus Speeches Authority wants to cause HBCU.
What year was that?
You okay?
What state is the Ravens?
Baltimore.
Kind of always surprised if they get to the Super Bowl. To be honest. Was that the year of the shooting? The Baltimore or bombing or whatever at the... Yeah, it was a shooting, I'm pretty sure. You ever notice that people get Super Bowl wins after tragedies? That's why I asked. Like, not to be crass, but it's true. Tragedies, new stadiums. That's when you're most likely to get an unlikely Super Bowl victory. Like, if you get an unlikely Super Bowl ring, or, like, even just, like, wow, how the fuck they even get to the Super Bowl? Usually they had a tragedy or a new stadium. That's why I'm like, is that the year that they had a tragedy? Because that would make sense. It's like all the owners come together and are like, hey, let's give that state's economy a boost. Let's give that state's economy a helping hand and tell people it's not so scary to come back here.
What are you staring over there?
Huh?
Damn, man, that fucking skirt. I was gonna ask you, what are you staring?
The base for my ring.
Oh,
Inspire this generation
goes up.
Crazy as that sounds,
Goes up.
feels like I could do anything.
Goes up?
Skirt.
Yeah.
No?
You're the strongest person I know.
junk food and just hang out. What's our last night?
Time for the lottery. Good luck to everyone playing for our 20 million.
If I can get some numbers on the burger bar right now, every week.
Damn.
6, 8, 20, 16.
How did you do that? What? How did you do that? How did you do that?
There you go.
God.
Now go get us some snacks.
I will get us some snacks. You know, right. You got me right. Wow. Coming out here.
What happened?
Good evening.
Fuck did that even come from?
Nina Nurse.
Yes.
I need to see pieces of identification.
Why don't you show our ID?
Because I asked.
There's not sufficient grounds. All right, so
This is like she's wallet.
why don't you show me? You haven't done anything.
I got a noise complaint.
Should be calling 911 on your company here with your bullshit.
Fuck.
What happened?
What is that?
I have another seasoning I need.
Put it down on the table now.
You scared to put it on camera?
Put it down.
What?
You okay? Hmm?
looking for?
And you, him?
Mom's. Cousins, whatever.
And your wife? You're right.
Why just something?
Round 2.
Yep. Round 2.
I'll pack a bowl.
Good idea. I could use some smoking. Don't follow me in the kitchen, I tell you.
Is that all of them?
Yep. This is the last. All the mustards. I do mustards, collards, turnips, and a little kale.
Turnip.
Turnip greens. Those are the only ones I didn't see whole though, so I had to get them in a bag.
Shoot the top. Problem solved.
What?
Problem solved.
Antonio, stop. Maybe not problem solved since they probably eventually investigate the cop's death. Like maybe more problems?
Yes.
Bigger? Like before it was on the cop, now kind of you. Not like the cop isn't objectively hunting you. Just like unfortunately murder isn't allowed in defense. We keep asking him to change that though. Mm-hmm.
Please.
How'd you never come back?
Got half my greens going. greens take like a little while. The things that take the longest to cook are really the greens and the game hens. So I'm doing those two first. And then the potatoes and macaroni and cheese will finish up while they're cooking. You hear me? I said the greens and the game hens are what's going to take the longest to cook. And then the potatoes and macaroni and cheese will finish up while they're cooking. Because they both take like about 3 hours. So. I have noticed when I take the stems out, my greens can cook in like an hour and a half, but the flavor's better in 3. It's edible after an hour and a half. Oops, I forgot my bowl. Can you give me that big bowl on the counter?
Which one?
The big old silver one?
Has something sticking out of it?
Does it? What's sticking out of it?
It's like a spoon or something.
Okay, put that spoon on the silver tray on the counter. That has the hens on it.
This one, right?
Yes. Big ass silver bowl.
Whatever.
Almost dropped something. Ow,
training system that leads you to college that was built in the 1700s. Now, it was closed up before they drilled this map. Yeah, you can work down here in the morning. Get beat out there sometimes it's scary. Work. You three, stop where you are. Hey, what are you doing coming out of there? I'm talking to you. Stop. Hey, stop right now. Do it.
Since you are capable of grasping the situation, I'm going to explain to you how this is supposed to go.
No. My son's done nothing but be a good young man. Why not? Try again. Not this time, baby. We're all getting
A bit hurry up. My bad.
accusing both targeting us, following us, shooting us, killing us. Nothing. Now we cross the line. My son will cross that gate. Right now, right here. My son will go.
I'll fix it better later.
So back the fuck up.
Oh, shit.
I see it. So last.
She gonna break the camera. Told you.
Nina Harris, not only by embracing her past, it was love, not magic.
Can you go dump those in my pot?
Romantic and permanent solution. The future remains uncertain. Even here. This time of year, we have a duty to be kind to strangers, visitors.
Someone in here, Captain. Who are you?
Just double on top.
Yep.
Have you had any guest check-in? Black suit, not from here.
This is a real good guy, everybody.
Many street tourists. The alerts have been issued on suspicious individuals in the area.
You haven't believed a single word out of my mouth, have you?
No, that's the first one seeing, so
I know, thanks.
Thank
Not this guy. He's experiencing a mental breakdown. About you people. Did you see that? Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
No.
Taking that.
You literally have only done that.
I'm not. So,
You said that last time.
hey, remember what I said?
I don't believe you.
What's going on though? There's no more.
You must not lose sight of the great struggle that consumes
What's this
us all.
actor's name? Steve.
Clear that your business partner is a member of a fringe religion. I don't think any of
It's
us
the
have secrets.
actor from Walking Dead.
I haven't seen that show.
What?
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen The Walking Dead yet?
No.
I feel like you have time. I feel like,
I'm sleeping all the time.
yeah, I feel like over the 9 years it's been on, you've had time.
What other show you said? Game of Thrones, huh?
Yeah. You definitely have had time to watch Game of Thrones because they take these long ass breaks. Like, I didn't watch Game of Thrones for a long time on purpose. I was like, no, I refuse. And then, like, the longer it was on, the more I refused to watch it. I'm like, I'm not going to watch a show that's been on for... I don't watch shows that are, like, years in. I'm like, no, I'll wait till it's over. Not gonna binge 8 seasons. Saw that I'm ready in time for season 9. You sound ridiculous. I'll just wait till it's over. I still have not seen a show that's worth that. And I really love television. But I still have not been able to tell somebody, you have to binge all 8 or 7 seasons of this to be ready for like the next season. It's so worth it. I can't in good faith tell somebody to do that. And I'm like, yep, you can if you want, but if not, just wait till it's over. Even if we don't know if that'll be. Even if it's like Supernatural and it's like, maybe it'll never be over. Who knows? Still not gonna press upon someone that like a show is worth binging 8 years of TV. That's an oversell. I can't imagine the show living up to that. Sell. Like, I still don't think Game of Thrones is, like, as good as people think it is. At all. I think Game of Thrones should have got canceled after season 1. My honest opinion. I will say, the show gets better or better. 100%. It does get better and better. But that doesn't mean that it deserved the opportunity to get better and better. Because when I watched it, I was just thinking about all the shows that got canceled after their first season, and this show is allowed to keep going. And I'm like, so, wait a second. I just watched a whole show about dragons. I just watched the whole first season. And there weren't any dragons until the last, like, episode of the first season, I think. Maybe that was when we saw a dragon and it was a baby.
Dragon baby?
Like, that's to let you know, that's what you get into when you go watch Game of Thrones. Don't think you're gonna be like, oh, here we go, dragons. No, you don't see an adult dragon on Game of Thrones until like season 4. You have to wait, so you have to watch you might as well like don't watch it until you're ready to like spend a whole weekend getting to the dragons, because like that's how long it takes. And I was hot. I was mad as shit. I was just talking mad shit in my stream until I'm like, really? Really? Wow. I was like, so everyone was really hype as shit over this show that has the audacity to be clear, not have a dragon? And then all the brown people are slaves? And then a white girl comes to free them? And 2 white guys wrote this? And it's based off a book written by a white person? And I'm like, and this isn't imaginative. Okay, here's my thing. It's not that Game of Thrones isn't good-ish. Is it more inventive or more imaginative than a lot of other things that I've seen? No. I've seen a lot of other things that are more imaginative and more unique and more inventive than Game of Thrones, which is basically the Middle Ages with dragons. And people will be like, no, but it's fantasy, so it's different, but it's the Middle Ages, so it had to be racist. Like, what? You can't have it both ways. Like, either it's fantasy, so that makes it unique and special, or it's in the Middle Ages, and that's why it had to be racist. Like, which one is it? Like, it either had to be racist and rapey because it's in the Middle Ages, or it's a fantasy, and they could have done whatever the fuck they wanted, and they still decided to make it racist and rapey. Right? Like, that's what, one or the other. Antonio, Like, you made a fantasy world. You could have done whatever you wanted in your fantasy world, but in your fantasy world, the Middle Ages essentially are happening, and it's still racist and rapey. You could have had a more enlightened Middle Ages, or Middle Ages where females were more dominant. There are societies where that has happened, so could have prevailed in your fantasy world. You just decided that in your fantasy world, that shit didn't happen. Because you're not that imaginative. That's okay. But I'm just saying there are other people writing more imaginative shit. And when I watch something, I'll be like, just saying that stuff got canceled during its season 1. Or like Sense8. Have you ever seen Sense8? Now Sense8, amazing. That show, crazy unique. Like, you can't even, like, describing that show to people is so hard because it created its own genre of sci-fi. You're like, you can't be like, it's about robots, or it's about clones, or it's about aliens. You can't say any of that. You have to be like, it's about the next stage of human evolution leading to a civil war amongst humanity? A secret civil war. And that's like the most vague description you could give of like this ridiculously detailed, amazing sci-fi show that is about like people who are like, you're all born at the same time, unknowingly, all around the world. And then, at another point, like, say when you're 30, you're reborn all again at the same time. But now, you're all connected, like, psychically. And, like, beyond psychically? As one person? So now all 8 of you will share each other's memories and experiences for the rest of your lives. And it makes you all like superhuman. It's like becoming a mutant all of a sudden when you're 30. And the type of mutant you are, when you become this type of mutant, you're tied to 8 other mutants. And you become like a mutant hive. And it gets just fucking cooler and cooler. And then they're like, canceled. And you're like, what? Oh. And you know who created and produced and made the show?
Just hype me up.
You know who created and produced and made the show? The sisters that made The Matrix. Yeah. So those two, like, you know, who were brothers but transitioned, so they're sisters.
The Wachowskis?
The Wachowskis. They made it. So you know it's amazing, right? Even they couldn't get something that amazing and invented to last. But some basic ass, racist ass, rapey shit? Well, it has dragons. So.
Season 4?
I mean, keep it going, keep it going. Let's have spin-offs. Like 7, 8 kingdoms, 1 brown one. All the other brown people are slaves somehow. And I was just like, huh.
How'd you get there?
Also, if you notice on the show, it also kind of has had a subplot with the slavery where, like, kind of brown people in the desert had still maintained slavery, but like all the white people related to King's Landing and stuff had laws outlawing slavery. Interesting. Interesante. But I'm not saying like I didn't enjoy the show for what it was. I'm just saying I've seen better shows. So I wouldn't give it a 10. I'd give it like a 7.5 and 8.
Which one?
Game of Thrones. I'd give Sense8 a 10 and it didn't even get to finish.
Oh, they didn't even finish this.
They get well. They gave them 2 seasons, and then they let them come back and make a movie to resolve the plots for the series. Also, though, the show was really expensive to make. It cost like $1 million an episode. But I'm like, that's not that much money. Kaylee Cuoco gets paid that much to make Big Bang Theory per episode. $1 million. The Friends got paid each that. Antonio, stop. Like, the Friends. All the Friends. I'm like $1 million per episode is that much. It sounds like a lot. You're like, oh, $1 million episode is a lot. Is it? Is $1 million episode a lot? There are shows where every actor's getting paid $1 million. So I'm just like, is $1 million a lot? So we're getting Big Bang Theory that's like $7 million an episode to watch people sit on couches. And Sense8, where literally every episode's taking place in like 8 to... Sorry. Every episode's taking place in 5... They're gonna call me right back. 1 second. Okay, good. Every episode's taking place in like 5 to 8 countries. And every actor is like from a different country. And the show's being carried on in like 5 different languages. And we're being told like $1 million to make it is too much? I am not convinced, ma'am. Like, people literally want them to just remake all of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Just that. Just remake an entire season that costs tens of millions of dollars to make.
Hey, man, you don't gotta stir that pot.
I do, but I'm about to dump these in it, so I have to season it and stir it. Tens of millions of dollars to make, and people wanted to remake it. If tens of millions, it probably cost over that. Probably in total, 100 million plus. No, actually, yeah, each episode probably cost tens of millions. Realistically, to make Game of Thrones. Once you add in CGI, like, okay, all the actors, all the cast, all the crew, which people really are not factoring in crew. The crew does not want to go fucking back out there. People are thinking, like, make the actors go back out there. The crew does not want to go back out there. That's what they're not thinking about. The crew doesn't want to go back out there. The people that make the costumes and have to follow the actors around with the costumes. They don't want to go back out there. The people that make the sets. They don't want to be back in that snow. They were cold. They have families. They're like, I actually got paid sufficiently and have another job to do that is in a warmer climate, so thank you. People are like, they should just be happy to have work. Like, bitch, they have another job. Like, they trust me, they worked on Game of Thrones. They were hired on another job. They already have more work. They don't need to redo Game of Thrones in that torturous climate. It's like, so paying all the crew, all the equipment, all the production costs, all the marketing for the seasons. Because then you have to remarket it. And all that. After all that, I'm sure 100 million at least. Are a little tired. I wanna keep.
Some help with anything?
Have you had any guest check-in?
Are you good at peeling potatoes?
Heck yeah, they call me the Philly Potato Champion.
Antonio, stop. Let me take a dab and shake it off. Well, first I'll hit this pipe, then I'll take a dab.